Hello everybody, this is Con. In front of you is the all-new Volvo XC60 that's just been launched today. Okay, so somewhere in there you'll probably see Bobby doing his walk-around video, so I'm going to leave him there first. Okay, right here is Bing. Hi Bing. Hi, just a reminder to everybody, Bing is single and available, so any prospective suitors, here she is. Okay, follow her channels on Bing Cheers. Okay, so back to the Volvo XC60. I'm going to just show you the spec sheet. Now, the XC60 is available in Malaysia, 3 variants. Okay, there is the T5, okay, priced at 298,888 ringgit. It is powered by a 2-liter turbocharged engine with 254 horsepower. The T8 twin engine is the plug-in hybrid, twin-charged plug-in hybrid with 407 horsepower combined, priced at 333,888 ringgit. Okay, then there's a T8 Inscription Plus, priced 10,000 ringgit higher at 343,000 ringgit, 888. Okay, so the difference between Inscription and Inscription Plus, okay, is a 10,000 ringgit premium and also a Bowers and Wilkins sound system. But why am I pointing you to the catalog? Because I want to show you something. Okay, so here, this is the list of features of the new XC60, and as I bring you closer, you can look here. When you look at all these stars, right, it shows that okay, some features are only listed in the T5, some are only available in the T8. Okay, now we come to the side where we talk about safety. Notice all these items listed in safety. Okay, all these items listed in safety. None of these items have any stars or asterisks attached to it. So it is consistent with Volvo's, Volvo's brand message that prioritize safety. That all variants of the XC60 come standard with the same standard safety features. All of them without exception. Okay, let's start with the exterior view of the XC60. You can see Bobby in there babbling to his camera. Talking about the interior, but we'll carry on with our video and you can watch his video later. I'll include the link to his video in the description section once it's up. Now, you look at the overall profile of this car, you will see that it is a very familiar shape as with the predecessor model. Okay, it's a very familiar shape from the predecessor model, but of course updated with the Volvo's latest generation styling touches. Hi Bobby.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. It's okay. So let's look at the front end of the XC60 T8. Okay, now the T8 being Inscription trim, okay, and the T5 being Momentum trim. Their outward appearances are quite similar but differentiated by some styling details. Okay, now both the T5 and T8 come with LED headlights with these Thor hammer daytime running lights, but the difference is that the T8's LEDs incorporate active cornering function, whereas the T5s are static. Okay, there isn't a unit of the T5 available on display here, so I can only show you the T8. Okay, now styling wise, this grille, okay, this grille is a unique grille to the Inscription trim. The Momentum trim has a slightly different grille design. Okay, and of course these chrome inserts here are also denote that this is an Inscription trim model. Okay, now moving to the side here, we see these 19-inch multi-spoke alloy wheels. That is another marker of the Inscription trim. The Momentum trim T5 has 18-inch alloy wheels. Coming to the side here, we see this is the fender-mounted charging port for the battery. Okay. Coming down here, you see this chrome strip. That is another unique subtle unique design feature of the Inscription trim model. Okay. Now, the lower section of the rear bumper, this is also unique to Inscription trim. Now, as you can see, this shape of the tail light is very similar to that of the predecessor model. Okay, and you can come closer, you can see this little Volvo detail here. Okay, so this shape, the overall shape of this tail light is very similar to the predecessor model, but now you can see that this section, it spills into the tailgate. They're in a fashion that's reminiscent of the V90 wagon. Okay, so you can see this, the LED lights run along here, along this shoulder, and comes down here. Okay, so you see this chrome inserts, also a unique distinguishing feature of the Inscription. Okay, and here's the variant badge, T8 twin engine all-wheel drive Inscription. Okay, so you can see here, reverse camera is standard for both the T5 and the T8. The T8 additionally gains a 360-degree camera. Alright, let's look inside the boot. It's a decently sized boot, okay, not super big, but decently sized. So you can see there are storage nets here, okay, and there's also a 12-volt socket right there, okay, right there. And here there's a strap. You can strap your things in here. Okay. These two buttons allow you to raise and lower the height of the car. I press this, the car has dropped slightly. Okay, so it allows you to lower the lower the height of the car, that allow you to easily move more easily move heavy things up. Okay, so exclusive for the T8, we have remote split folding rear seat. So as I press this, drops. Okay, the T5 also has 60/40 split folding seats, but it's mechanically released. Okay, right, so underneath here is the 12-volt battery. Okay, and also this is the charging cable. Now remember, the XC60 is based on Volvo's Spa platform, and the Spa platform, okay, in the Spa platform, the hybrid battery is mounted along the center tunnel, okay, as opposed to the boot with most models of competitor cars. So as a result, this boot space that you see here, okay, is identical to what you would get in a regular non-hybrid XC60. So let's step inside the cabin. Okay, the seats fold down electrically, but fold back up manually. Okay, now something Bobby highlighted to me earlier, right under here, okay, here is a slot which you can put your things. So you can put, if let's say you have an iPad or what, you can just slot it here. This is an A4 size brochure, so you slot it in. So it's this deep. Okay, this is as deep as it goes. It's rubberized, and allow me to show you the space. The thickness is this thick, so it's thick enough for me to put my palm in. So these are ISOFIX mounts. These days as a parent, I very much appreciate well-designed ISOFIX mounts, and something like this really is useful, because it means that it's very easy for me to find the mount and very quickly anchor my child seat on board. Okay, so pull this down. This is the central armrest. You can reveal 2 cup holders. Okay, this is a tray which you can I don't know, maybe you can put your handphone here, and also you open this up, another shallow but useful storage tray. Alright, so seated at the back of the XC60, so let's start with leg room. Well, it's not really big enough that I can cross my legs, but you wouldn't call these tight accommodations. The seat squat, okay, it angles up nicely and provides you good thigh support all the way. From my body size, it ends just ngam at my knee. Okay, so it's good for support. There's also a back seat pocket here. And for headroom, I've got about this much. Please excuse, these lights are don't come standard with the car. Volvo provided this here to light up the interior for better photos, but these don't come standard with the car. Okay, now look further up. This car has panoramic sunroof. This is another exclusive feature for the XC60 T8. Okay, the T5 doesn't have a panoramic roof. Okay, so we have a Bowers and Wilkins sound system here. So this indicates that this is the Inscription Plus variant. Okay, the rear aircon blowers mounted at the B pillar, but nothing here. Okay, there are no centrally mounted aircon blowers. This is a necessary compromise because right under here is the hybrid battery, so there is no room left to run your aircon piping here already. Okay, so the one compromise of this Spa, of the way the Spa platform places the hybrid battery along the center tunnel, is that you don't compromise on your fuel tank volume, you don't compromise on your boot space, you don't compromise on cabin space, but you compromise on your ability to maximize the usage of the center tunnel, which if in the grand scheme, in the balance of things, right, it's a fair enough trade-off. Now, so what you are left here, I believe in overseas spec, right, this is probably a rear climate control. This probably is where you put the rear climate control switch, but this is not available in the T8 in any global spec whatsoever. Okay, any global spec. And this is a 12-volt socket. Okay, tunnel is raised here. So let's go to the front. So you see here, Bowers and Wilkins speakers, and this is a long door pocket, runs from this edge of the speaker right to the back. Okay, so you can slip plenty of things here. Okay, I'll give you a look at the cabin from here first. So this is a very familiar looking cabin if you have already been on the S90 and the XC90 as well. So Volvo has largely brought the 90 series cabin down to the XC60 level, so perhaps we can expect a similar cabin design for the upcoming S60 as well. Okay, so coming on board, so here you have the virtual instrument clusters, and then so you have pedal shifters, and this is the now Volvo trademark, the center stack. It's just, you know, a portrait screen, so you know it's a touch screen, so with swipe function. You have this very mahal looking Autoforce crystal that gear lever that is exclusive for T8 versions of any Volvo model. Okay, this is a very unique start stop. Well, it's not a start stop button, it's a start stop knob, so you twist this button to start the engine. Okay, so you see, as you can see here, this space here is very well utilized, very well partitioned, so you can, even though it's not particularly deep, right, but the way it is partitioned, you can drop a lot of things in here. And Volvo, okay, actually took the trouble to mold this section of the plastic in this wavy form, so you can use this to store slightly bigger items, and yet at the same time, right, you can, you know, use it as a legitimate cup holder. Okay, so here's a look at the key fob. You can see it matches with the color of the upholstery. Here's the center console box. Amazing that this center console box is actually deeper than that of the S90, which is a bigger car. Okay, so the S90 T8, if you remember from my earlier video, because it also has the burden of having to put the hybrid battery under here, right, the S90's the S90 T8's center console box is actually very shallow. It's only about an inch deep. So this one is usefully much deeper, and you can store way more items here. Okay. Oh, look at this. This is nice. This is properly nice. Look at this wood finish. This is very nice. It looks very classy. Yeah, it makes this cabin look so classy. Yeah, so you can see this wood that runs down here and all the way up. Okay, so yeah, it is a single piece running all the way with this in this. Okay, and you will notice that right at the bottom of the passenger side aircon vent, this is the Swedish flag here. Okay, it's a very nice little detail. It's the Bowers and Wilkins tweeter. Still got test drive? Still got. Can I sign up? Alright, thank you. Okay, so in another half an hour, I will be taking the XC60 T8 on a very brief test drive. Okay, so just hitting the road in the XC60 T8. So I've just come out from the parking lot of Sheraton. Throughout the whole time, the car was was moving along in purely electrical power. Okay, so immediate impressions: the electric motor is very punchy. Okay, and just to give you a bit of a background, I am currently driving around in a Mercedes-Benz E350e plug-in hybrid as well. So that will be my frame of reference. Okay, so immediately this electric motor feels punchier, more responsive than the Mercedes 350e. Okay. At the same time, the brakes. Just now I had a short chat with Bobby. Bobby tells me that he finds the brakes to be very natural, very progressive. I am still getting used to it. Okay. Earlier in the parking lot, I had a few jerky moments with the pedal. So maybe, hopefully, as this test drive goes along, I will smoothen things out a little. So we are driving through a bit heavy traffic. We are passing by a school area, so yeah, there are a lot of cars stopped. So we'll be moving along at a very gentle pace, right? So still more electric. Chances are we'll be going on all electric. Okay, now to recap, okay, Volvo's T8 plug-in hybrid setup, okay, T8 twin engine plug-in hybrid setup has engine at the front, driving the front wheels, battery along the center tunnel, electric motor at the rear. So it is all-wheel drive, but without a physical prop shaft connecting the front and rear axles. Right. So my old friends from Carlis.my, do read their launch report. I have included it in the description section below. Pointed out a very interesting fact. The what you call it? The XC60 here, 407 horsepower, right? It actually has more power on tap than a Macan Turbo. Okay, let that fact sink in for a while. Okay, 407 horsepower. That is more powerful than the Macan Turbo. But of course, bear in mind one thing lah. 407 horsepower is when you have a fully charged battery supplying juice to the electric motor. Okay, but that being said, when the electric motor, once the battery runs out of juice, okay, the twin charged engine, the 2-liter twin charged engine up front, still has about 300 odd horsepower on tap. Okay, so when you think of it, right, you have you have a potential. This car has a potential of 407 horsepower. Okay, but anytime, at a minimum, you will still have about 320 horsepower coming from the petrol engine, which is still more than what most other SUVs at the same price range offers. Okay, the Mercedes GLC 250 has 211 horsepower. The BMW X3, assuming BMW brings the either the 20i or the 30i versions, will have about anywhere between 190 to 250 horsepower. So the XC60, even when the battery runs out of juice, right, it won't have 407 horsepower as advertised, but it still has more than most. Okay, so when you are driving this car in electric mode, right, it is essentially a rear-wheel drive vehicle with the dynamics of a rear-wheel drive car. Also, I just went over a bump. That was very nice. The car behaved very harmoniously. It went up and down in one pleasant motion. So I only got half an hour here in this car, so I don't really have much time to fiddle with all the settings and all that. Maybe slightly later along we'll have the car for a longer review. Okay, but even in this brief drive, the overall impressions feel very, very positive. So the engine just kicked in. The transition, okay, as the petrol engine fired up, was relatively free of vibration, but the sound was quite loud, so I heard it very, very clearly. Yeah, there seems to be a slight sense of choppiness on the brake pedals. So when you drive this car, right, when you apply the brakes, you have to be you need to apply it with a certain degree of fitness. You cannot just pakai whack. You have to, like, you know, you have to be measured in your brake inputs. Otherwise, your passengers is gonna have a very jolting time. But that being said, in contrast, the powertrain, okay, the overall powertrain package feels quite smooth. As I mentioned earlier, the transitions as the engine, the petrol engine up front fires in and out, feels smooth. Okay, it's just that the engine can make itself heard, okay, as it revs, but it is a pleasant kind of sound. Okay, it has a sporty note to it. Okay, body roll seems good. I mean, it's not. There is some. Okay, the car rolls a bit, but not at a level that you would consider unacceptable for an SUV at this height and body size. Steering feels light, so it's good for maneuvering at tight spaces. It reduces the amount of effort, but I would say that it could use a bit more weight to inspire confidence at high speeds. Just a bit more weight. Okay, the actual, you know, response of the steering is pretty sharp, okay, and it's pretty accurate. Right, so now that we are stopped at a traffic light, let's take a brief moment to look across around the cabin. So compared to the car that was on display earlier, this one has a lighter interior, which I personally feel better suits you know, Volvo's you know, Scandinavian design. It gives the cabin a more spacious, a more airy feel. Okay, because dark cabins, okay, you associate dark cabins with sportiness, but Volvo does not need. I mean, a Volvo can be sporty, but it is not the core identity of Volvo. Okay, so I feel personally that this lighter shade of the cabin gives the overall ambience of the cabin just that more warmth, okay, and it feels more welcoming as a whole. So personally, I think the lighter shade, the lighter cabin, the lighter color of the cabin has greater visual appeal, but at the same time, I also acknowledge that a lighter cabin dirties a lot quicker than a dark shade cabin. Is there like music in the DVD, is there a thumb drive in there?
There's no. Just now they just switch on the radio.
Okay, so alright, so this is the as you can see from this tweeter at the top here, this is the Inscription Plus trim with the Bowers and Wilkins speakers. So this set of speakers, if you pick the Inscription Plus car, this set of speakers have added 10,000 ringgit to your purchase price. So I'm no audiophile, but I would say that, you know, there is a certain, you know, quality of crispness to the sound. Okay, of course I can't try this back to back with the standard speakers. Okay, but I would say that this extra 10,000 ringgit, okay, is probably worth spending if you are the type that really can tell the difference, you know, in terms of the sound quality. But one point I will like to make is this, okay, as a new car, okay, when I say that these speakers cost 10,000 ringgit, it may sound a lot, but when you spread it over your monthly repayments, right, okay, that 10,000 ringgit, okay, it does not add significantly to your monthly repayments. That's one. Secondly, when you move this car along several years down the road, when you sell this car back in the used car market, right, chances are your car would then in the used car market command a slightly better price and will probably be easier to sell. So overall, the XC60, very positive first impression. It's coming into a very a very competitive market. The predecessor has set a very high bar, and from what I see here, this one looks set to continue the fine traditions of the previous model. Okay, let's not forget the outgoing XC60 has been consistently Volvo's best-selling model, and not only that, the first gen XC60, year in every year, it just kept on posting increased sales. So every year the XC60 never failed to sell more cars than it did the previous year. But can this one continue to do the same? It is an appreciably a better car, no doubts about it, but at the same time, okay, the segment itself also is getting very competitive and very congested. Most notably, the Mercedes GLC 200, the Mercedes GLC class in general that one is a very stylish car. I personally quite like the GLC 200 because it has a very pleasant, very pliant chassis, even though the equipment list is a bit kosong. Okay, this one, no doubts that the XC60 equipment is loaded to the brim. Then later this year we will have the all-new BMW X3, which, according to my friend Eric, my old colleague Eric from Carlis, who went for the International Media Drive last year, he says that the new X3 also is said to be a very competitive product. There's also a new Audi Q5, which, well, I do not know when Audi is going to bring that in. Okay, and plus don't forget there's also the Lexus NX and RX that that competes within this price sphere that gives consumers shopping for a premium SUV at this price no shortage of choice. But what we can be sure of is this: even in this competitive pool of cars, there is no doubt that the XC60 definitely holds its own. Okay, of course, whether it will perform as well as its predecessor, given that its rivals have all strengthened, that remains to be seen. Okay, so hopefully we'll get a chance to drive the XC60 on a more extensive review at a later date. Maybe hopefully we even get a chance to try out the lower spec T5. Okay, but yeah, so this will have to suffice for now lah. Okay, so until my next video, thanks for watching. Bye for now.